Hello there, Pat Minner here. Working on modifying my new Clinkscale bill page bowie knife made for mountain man throwing. And as great a knife as this is, it still has to have some modifications to it to make it stick better, and also to protect the stocks that are on it. These are compressed leather stocks, but they're thick also, so try to show you what I've been doing here. What I do is wet the leather, and I take a small ball peen hammer, and I'm holding the camera with one hand. If I were doing this actually, I would be not holding the camera, but you want to take with it wet and start tapering this leather down to where it's beveled. And the reason you want to do that is that in mountain man throwing, let's just take walk across Texas, for instance. If you've got an inch or so of that block left, and you've got a golf tee an inch away from the edge, you want to try to make another point. So sometimes you'll throw the knife and you'll just miss where you want to hit, and you'll hit the very edge of that block. What happens there, it can damage these stocks. So you want to make this as thin as possible, taper it as much as you can down here. You're not going to hurt the leather if you either use saddle soap or water or a combination of both, and soften that compressed leather and just start tapping down the bevel on both sides. Believe me, that makes a big difference. Beautiful knife, but I don't know a stock knife that is 100% ready for mountain man throwing. I love the weeping heart that Bill had put in there for me, and it's just kind of an insignia of mine. And after, well, my wife and I had a tragic accident, but that's another story completely. But I started using the weeping heart as my symbol. If you'll look up mountain man throwing, you'll see that mountain man days, you'll see there's a reason for that weeping heart. Another thing you want to do is hone down the bevel. I don't know how well you can see that, but that's a pretty thick bevel. It's got a rib on either side, and what that does is, in a hard block, for instance, it will slow down the penetration of the knife, and you won't get as much penetration. And being a heavy knife, the weight of just barely sticking in will cause the knife to fall out. So what I do is I take this bevel off. I thin this here with a file on both sides, and it takes hundreds of times with a file. I wouldn't suggest using a grinder because you take off too much stock at one time, and it looks much better if you'll use a file. And what you do is, you'll know when you get enough off by throwing and sticking it. You can measure the penetration you're getting on the same block. So take that shoulder off too, and just smooth it down to where you've got a thinner thickness of the knife, and that results in sticking deeper. And then you want to take a file and sharpen it, get it as sharp as you can, where when you throwing at playing cards, it's not as thick. So if you're close on the bottom of the card or the top of the card or the edge of the card, it won't bust it the rest of the way out, because that's an extra point if you can get a center cut. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you, and it's not damaging the knife in any way if you take your time with it. You want a good sharp edge on both sides so it stops splitting the card and just cuts it. So anyway, share that with you, and y'all have a great day. And my favorite knife, the Clinkscales bowie. So working on it. Thank you.